Hello, and welcome once again to Gravemire. I am Paxton, and I will be the dealer or the GM for this session.
I am Eric. I am playing Vance, the sad doctor trying to find his way through this scary bayou.
Yeah. And my name's Grayson. I'm playing Raquel, a Spanish woman who has fled Mexico and also ended up in the bayou.
Awesome. Unfortunately, Cameron could not make it this time, but rest assured he will make an appearance again someday. Um, Last time, your group returned from a mission to out in the bayou, and you made it home mostly intact, which was pretty impressive. Today, we are going to be running through some downtime activities and and deciding what your next contract is going to be. So, if you don't already have your books ready at the uh, playing within the border section of the Gravemire book, I recommend you do so, and we can kind of just get into it.
Okay.
You each have four skill points that you can spend during this activity, and you also each have four let ups, is what they call these, that you can spend your let ups on rest or recover, learn from your mistakes, learn something new and get stronger, sift through Scarstone, and get something you need.
Okay.
We also, like we discussed earlier, we're going to give y'all one free sift through Scarstone, just because it's just the two of you this time, and it'll give me a little bit more opportunity to participate.
Okay. Um, Fair enough. And it goes in order, correct? So it would
Yes.
start in rest to or recover.
Yes, so
Okay.
it would we would start with um do either of you wish to rest or recover?
No.
Looking at it, I don't think I need to. I was healed up by the good doctor himself.
Uh-huh.
If you're using your own questions, yeah. So I
Yeah.
would pass on this one.
I'm passing that one as well.
All
Oh,
right.
my dog is growling.
So we can just skip over that one. Would either of you like to learn from your mistakes? Ooh, there's a puppy. Okay.
I will be. Let me pull up the skills. Is let's see. Where are the skills in
List of skills.
yeah, I just meant the is it in player creation?
That oh yeah, it should be in player creation. There's also, if you're looking for the chart for skill point costs, I do have that in the cheat sheet document. Um, which
Skills
should be
31. Okay.
yeah.
Tier 1 is most specific, tier 3 is most vague.
Uh huh.
Okay. So Vance, um, how does let's see? That's page 47. I'll try to remember that.
Okay. Sorry, I muted myself for the dog.
All
Um,
right.
I am also gonna do it.
Okay.
Um, because Vance said he's doing it correct. Wow. I'm going to mute myself one more time though, so we'll let Vance decide some stuff while I deal with
Okay.
this real quick.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So learn from your mistakes. Answer the dealer's question, then explain yourself. taking an aversion in the process. Let's see. Then take a new skill representing what you've learned. Let's see. When you learn from your mistakes, do not engage in a roleplay scene with another character, nor ask another question. Instead, lean into the introspection. Okay, so you will ask me a question then, Paxton. I'll
Yep.
answer it and gain an aversion, which is wonderful, and learn a new skill.
Yes. Oh, interesting. Do you have an idea of what skill you are interested in learning?
Yes, I'm going to turn the lore that we talked about in, I think it was mostly in the first game we played, or the first session we played, of his Vance's grandfather telling him about
Ah,
old lore into some kind of knowledge occult skill.
oh, that is exciting. I
Yes.
am down for it. In that case, um, all of these questions are so juicy in different directions for that. Um, I think, um, the prompt I will give you is question a teaching, moral, or value you live by. What is flawed about it, and what has now made you give it up or change it?
Let's see. Question a teaching, moral, or value you live by. So let's see.
Uh-huh.
It'll probably be a teaching or value because moral doesn't really make sense in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
For Vance, it's probably something like it's probably like a value of, I don't know how, like academia, like
Uh-huh.
something of holding higher education above everything else.
Yeah, because he is
And
a doctor, right?
yes, he is a professional surgeon, and he definitely thinks he's better than most people because of it.
Uh-huh.
And I think after seeing everything that's happened, after literally being saved by these two people, one who was a cook who was able to just look at things and recognize their value in food, and another who was able to just literally make her way through the forest without even knowing the path. He's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, okay, academia is not everything. Sometimes you have to be able to trust your gut, follow your instincts, or the lessons that you've learned before. And so he's definitely turning his back a bit, if not on knowledge, more on the institution that is academia.
Yes. Okay. I love that.
Me too.
Now, as to what the aversion is, I do not know.
We can come up with that as we go, but
Yeah,
let's see. First,
and then
you have some options for explaining yourself.
yes.
That first question, you left like 3 hit points behind. No.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. But that's a joke answer.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so let's see.
Let's see.
I think it's definitely you've lost something inside you to what lies beyond the border.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's just that idea of superiority. Even there were definitely things out there that were different in
Uh-huh.
the simplest form, and they took from him in mostly physical ways, but
Mm-hmm.
also like by the end of it, like by the end of it, he was talking to horses like they were people. He was starting to lose it a little bit,
Yeah.
even if he wouldn't admit it to himself.
Mm-hmm. Your in game terms, both your maximum health and your maximum willpower are reduced.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens out there.
Out there in the bayou.
Mm, okay. I like that. In that case, let me double check the exact wording on this again. Um, I will recommend an aversion here, because it sounds like to me not only is Vance realizing that he needs to trust his gut as much or more than his mind, but
Hmm.
also that he needs to depend on the wisdom of others as well. Um,
Yeah,
and so I wonder if that might give you some kind of aversion to isolation while you are out beyond the border.
Hmm.
I like that one because that pairs into just his general life as well.
Uh huh.
Because he's also just fearful of being alone.
Hmm.
Let's see.
No one
Okay,
is alone.
what tier would knowledge of the occult be? Or mythology, or whatever we do. I think mythology is better. Would it be tier 3, or do we think?
Let's see. I feel like it kind of depends on I guess yeah. Would you like it to be something that could apply to most situations beyond the border? Or do you think it should be more like being able to recognize specific well, no, that's a bad way of wording it.
I would
I
I would
guess
say
what
3 myself.
tier are you most interested in, and then we can reverse engineer it from there.
Fair. Fair.
What was the question, Grayson? Or
It
what
just
was the
seems more
statement?
like a tier 3
Oh,
to me where that feels like a very broad thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as I was starting to unravel it in my head. Is just like, um, kind of just like the question he asked the creature or the being of ants
oh,
friend. That's the name. Just like, like, is this creature vulnerable to silver? Is like, what is this thing? Just a
okay.
very broad, but also with like a chance of knowing it.
Like,
Let's
have
see.
I heard a skill for have I heard a story about this?
Yeah,
Okay,
like common knowledge, but for
but for
terrifying beasties that go bump in the night.
yeah, in that case, I think it would be a tier three.
Okay, and that starts at a +1.
All right. Oh, I need to.
Adeline. Oh, Adeline.
Okay, and then Grayson, you said you were also learning from your mistakes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, are you ready for what I'm learning about?
Yes, I'm just
Typing it out. The that stuff.
yeah.
So I think the main thing that Raquel, like her biggest downfall is if she's gonna be the one leading the way, she needs to learn how to navigate. So I'm thinking that's what the skill is gonna be called, is navigate.
Okay.
Um,
Navigation skill is the one you're interested in.
yeah.
Okay,
Or
let me.
It could be like trailblazing or something like that, but the
Right.
purpose is to lead or make a path or find a path.
All right. In that case, the question I will ask you is, um, identify a critical mistake you made on your last mission and analyze it as such. How can you promise you won't make this mistake again?
Um, being in the front, I think it's not just like I think it's a flashback of multiple mistakes of like leading the group into the harpies, leading them to the weird Cyclops masked man who marked us,
Uh huh.
and it's just kind of like a compounding and just realizing I took these people who trusted their lives to me into dangerous situations
Uh huh.
because I don't know I didn't know how to be better. Um, and I think specifically like it focuses on that weird Cyclops man, how we just kind of trusted him, and it's like we don't know what's happening. Um, and then how can I promise I won't make that mistake again?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I've she promises to herself that if she learns how to read the bayou better, she can make the safer decisions.
Uh huh.
And so like I feel however it's seen in like a weird cutscene type story, but she is like learning like star charts and she's like looking at her compass and like making sure it works at all times. It's not like some defective thing that the dudes used, the military people who gave it to me. And she kind of
Okay.
like goes into this weird study mode that's not
Mm-hmm.
actually that long of a time lapse, but
All right. And then you get to choose one of the questions under explain yourself that you can explore a little bit, and then we will decide on an aversion for you to
okay.
take.
Um, hmm. What did Vance do? They
Vance lost something.
and it was the need for academic knowledge and more of realizing there's more, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so I am definitely kind of in the same lines where like I led these people into danger. I've she has taken that responsibility to heart, and now she is like burdened with this guilt of when I go into the bayou, these people have to follow like me, and like
Hmm.
I need to make it a yeah, it's like their safety depends on me basically. And so
Ooh.
she's just like burdened with the guilt of being the navigator.
Okay. Interesting. Oh.
Um, so
So
I see in our document that you have Vance with one skill point left.
right,
Yeah.
because
So I
uh,
believe from this thing you get the tier and the rank in it for the aversion that comes with it, rather than spending skill points. If I understood.
Yes.
oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you only spend skill points in whatever the other one is.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn something new and get stronger.
Which is why the like, if it's a very specific thing, it's at a +3. If it's a tier 2, it's a +2, and if it's a tier 3, it's a +1.
See, yeah, I only skimmed through
Yeah.
this particular page.
Um. So with that, we need to decide the aversion that Raquel gains, and what tier and rank her navigation skill will be.
Yeah. So let's see. Um, do do do. Based on your answers to those questions, um, it sound. Oh man, I don't want to give you an aversion to failing this particular kind of skill roll.
Yeah. I
Because
would.
that Oh, go ahead.
What if it's like oh, I don't know how to word it, but basically like feeling unappreciated, kind of. Like
Oh,
if I make a mistake, like being criticized, that could be like the aversion.
like a
I
rejection
was
sensitivity kind of a thing.
Hmm.
I was gonna say like a crossroads.
Ooh,
So like a bunch
ooh,
of pathways and stuff.
that's actually a really good one too.
Like, but like maybe specifically a like the kind of crossroads where all of the choices, or like impossible crossroads, maybe like all of the choices seem similarly bad
Or equally good.
or equally good, right? But
Yeah.
this is Gravemire. Everything is always bad,
Oh yeah.
right?
But you know,
Um,
sometimes when you're standing there, they all look great. I
fair.
I do like crossroads.
Okay. Do we want to keep it as general as just crossroads,
Um,
or just like um
Well, because it'll does it how do aversions work again?
um aversions? The only time that uh
Aversions. Let's see.
you actually measure the tiers of aversions is when you're using them to buy skill points at the very beginning of the game.
When you encounter an object of aversion, immediately roll a willpower check.
Yep.
On a success, lose 1. On a failure, lose 2.
Yep.
so my thing is you're the game master. Um, we can either like make it a nerfed type of aversion if you would like, or you know, you just use
Or
them
just
sparingly.
have it only come up
Yeah,
sometimes.
like use them
Yeah.
in great narrative moments, or
Yeah,
like
crossroads are definitely something that are like man-made. I think it, like cuz like the lore behind crossroads is heavily tied with like deals of the devil and like pathways to the other side and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
And
like crossroads are always very well defined. I don't like personally I wouldn't say like, oh look, this animal path crosses here with this, like I don't think that's a crossroad. I
mhm,
think the crossroad is very obviously like something like, oh look, these two very obvious paths are cross, that kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely. Um okay, so as long as we have that established and what's the word? Shared understanding.
yeah,
Okay, I will put down
man,
crossroads.
that's a fun aversion.
That's a very fun aversion.
Um, and then depending on what tier we make navigation, depends on what rank it would be. I feel like
I think if you made it trailblazing where it was specifically for like exploring the bayou, it would be tier 1.
Okay.
Like navigation makes it sound a bit more like, oh, I could do this anywhere. I think if
Yeah,
it was like the idea of like trailblazing being able to do it anywhere makes a lot of sense as a tier 1.
yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm fine with calling it trailblazing as well, because it's not like I'm navigating by the stars or like
Yeah,
I said that as like the part of the thing of learning, but I don't. I'm not an actual trailblazer
yeah.
nor navigator, so you know. Sometimes I just say fancy words to feel cool. But yeah, it
Um,
feels more tier one or tier two to me. It
yeah,
doesn't feel that broad of a.
absolutely. I think I will have it be tier 2
Okay.
because it is something that is likely to be rolled at least once every mission,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Okay. And so that would be at rank two then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Perfect. And then
right. Do you have any more mistakes to learn from, Grayson?
I don't think so. I think Raquel is mostly that kind of trailblazing, navigating guilt. I'm trying to think of
Enough guilt sandwich for one day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like there might be something in there about you know being untrustworthy of everybody we come across. Some weird like insight check, but I might just use skill points to buy something like that, or maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. In that case, I guess did Eric did do you think Vance has more mistakes to learn from?
No, he is ready to move on to learn something new and get stronger.
All right. In that case, let's move on to learn something new and get stronger. This activity is where you spend the skill points that you earn by completing contracts in the bayou. Whenever you learn something new and get stronger, you may spend up to 4 skill points, divided however you wish. Then have another player ask your character a question from the list. If possible, choose a player who is also having their character learn something new and get stronger.
Um,
And then we have a table.
yes. I believe so. Tier 2 skill requires 2 skill points. I think I'm going to do a +1 to my trailblazing and to
Uh,
my max health to use all 4 of my points. Because those
Let's
both
see.
cost 2. So I am doing this one. If I don't know if I said that, but that's probably
Yeah.
gained from when I started saying I would use. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Words.
And then
To be asked to the players.
what do you value in our team? What worries you, Raquel?
So, I value. I value that when we go into the bayou, I don't have to worry about finding food or getting an infection when I have you two by my side. Um, the thing that worries me is if we're ever separated, I don't know I don't know how to treat a wound. I don't know how to forage for food. Like I'd probably eat some poisonous berry and die of dehydration from all the vomit. And so I feel like I am reliant on you two.
mm,
So that worries me.
All right. Vance is going to spend all 4 of his points to raise his health up to 6.
woof.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. Oh, Gray, did you edit Raquel's character sheet?
no, but I
Sorry.
can.
Okay.
Did you get the Trailblazer? That one's really small on my screen because
Oh,
I have it split on 2 things right now,
right.
and I don't know what's in. Like it looks like there's something in front of my cursor. Oh nope, I can see it now. 3. Okay. Um, so you're just doing straight up health.
Straight up health.
Does it? Do we heal that health? That new
I
gain
don't
health?
think so,
Oh,
but I don't know. It is a weird thing to read, so maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know.
I assumed not just because of how mean this game is.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is a mean game.
Okay. The question Raquel asks after your question is, when do you want to return home and like why? Like I know you want to go home to your wife, but like
But
why are you here? Or like yeah, yeah,
Um, I want to go home as soon as I have enough money that I'm sure I'll be able to pay for her treatment until she is healthy, my wife. Um, why do I need to wait until that moment? Because I'm worried that if I come home too early, I will be I will be in the same problem I was before I left, where I am short money and she is still sick. But if I wait too long, I'm worried she'll die.
yeah. Fair. takes care
Alright.
of your wife while you're out here?
A medical friend of medical friend, like a medical colleague. There we go.
Okay.
A medical colleague of mine who's been doing most of her care.
Mhm.
She's all but bedridden at this point, so she doesn't need much care, sadly.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pretty good scene.
It's sad.
Yep.
Yeah. Welcome to Gravemire, everyone. um, so the next possible activity
Are you
is
learning? Or wait, no, you used all your points. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah. So the free sift through Scarstone.
yes. So Scarstone is where you can sleep safely at night, but it's also a community of its own, and every small town has its own stories to tell. As a visitor in Scarstone, your characters won't get the same opportunities to engage with the town as they might if they lived here. By nature of the game, you play outsiders to the town, and the relationship you have with the townsfolk and various locations within the border of Scarstone are only furthered in short bursts, in between the contracts that you're taking on. When you sift through Scarstone, ask the dealer a question from the list, or come up with your own question about the town regarding history and community. Then ask the dealer to tell you more about how a part of the town, then ask the dealer to tell you more about a part of the town that they haven't detailed yet. When everyone is finished sifting through Scarstone, stage a roleplay scene in one of the places or involving one of the answers that the dealer detailed.
Mm.
Okay. Which question do we like?
Yep.
So, would we, if we do use our let ups or points,
Uh huh.
we could ask multiple questions and then we focus on one thing for a scene at the end, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we would do multiple scenes.
It says when everyone is finished, asking the
Oh,
question
okay. Yes.
through.
Yes. Okay.
Then we all do one scene that is in one of the places or involves one of the answers that I
Okay.
detailed.
Because I might
So,
use one of my let ups to add another question to our free question.
mm,
Okay. I really like which resident seems to follow me around.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
that is pretty fun.
Um. So I think that would be a good free question. Do we want to do it specifically about Vance?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then, do you want me to, do you want to ask all the questions or do you want to answer that before we?
Um,
Because I think.
let's
Um,
ask them all. Or yeah, Paxton, what would be easier for you?
and then I can that way I can answer the easiest ones first.
Okay. So I will use one of my let ups to. You kind of cut out, so I'm. It sounded like you said ask them all and then you answer the easiest one first, right? Okay.
Yes. Sorry about that.
No, I just started like speaking. I'm like, wait, did I actually hear it correctly? But okay. Um, what is I like the first one, so I'll use one of my let ups to ask, how do the residents of Scarstone appear to feel about my return from beyond the border? So
Ooh,
how do they feel about Raquel returning from the border, and then which one follows around Vance?
okay. Eric, would you like to spend one of Vance's let ups on this?
No.
Okay. So we have just the two questions.
Plus follow ups.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Plus
Yes.
plus the follow ups, of course.
Yep.
Um, so I will start with how the residents appear to feel about Raquel's return from beyond the border. Um, let's see. I think that there are there are some layers to the way that uh, this gets, or to the way that people respond to this. Um,
Oh,
so
puppy.
there is a lot of apparent concern for your health and safety when you return. Like I think there are a handful of women in the town who you wouldn't call them friends necessarily, but they're people that you talked to a little bit, and they a couple of them, mostly like people around your mother's age, I would say, seem like they see you coming back, and they like rush over and like throw a shawl over your shoulders and like usher you into somebody's house and offer you tea, or do you coffee, or like maybe you just want some clean water. We have that too, just like um and at first it feels kind of nice to have people worry about you and care a little bit, but the longer you spend with these people, the more apparent it becomes that it's less about concern for you and more about they they're like covering up and overcompensating for the opinion that you should not be out there. Um, it's not proper. Um,
Ooh.
it, it's not safe. You aren't you some kind of a high class lady? Like, what are you even doing with your life? You could be at home. Uh, you could be weighted on hand and foot, and they treat you not necessarily like you are their child, but like you are a child.
Ooh. Okay. Um, and then my follow up. So then I get to ask the dealer about a part of town that we haven't detailed yet. Um, is there a like a factory type district or like a loom place where all these women would go be making textiles? Not necessarily like in a factory like mass producing, but like a place where women get together and sew or weave or that kind of
Oh,
thing.
interesting. um Actually, I think that there is right, there's not quite a factory, I don't think.
Yeah.
Scarstone is too small a town for that,
Yeah.
but there is a group of women who call themselves the spinning circle, or the spinsters,
Ooh.
um, who they're all you know single women of marriageable age or older, who are somehow able to keep themselves afloat, usually through textile work. Um, and they let's see, one of them has a larger house than all the others, with like a big open room where they all can like bring their equipment if they want to talk while they work. And so like one or two of them will be working on looms, and the rest of them are usually like spinning thread or yarn while they talk to each other.
Fun. Okay. Um, so it's one of their houses. Okay.
Yes. Um,
Which resident seems to follow me around whenever I'm in town?
Ooh, that is a good one. Let me.
I mean, immediately I'm just like, it's the little kid, right? You know, it's always the curious little kid. But I
It,
don't know if that's the trope that we want to lean into. I'm
yeah.
curious.
Sorry, I got um really quick. Grayson.
Yes.
That the bigger house. It belongs to Miss Elliot.
Miss Elliot.
Yep, or Ms. Elliot, technically. Um, and then who follows Vance around? Um, Let me look at that. Oh, the little kid is a very good trope that I enjoy a lot. I think that it is not a little kid though. I think it is a teen boy who dreams of going to university.
Oh,
He's like 14 or 15, old enough that everyone around him expects him to be doing manual labor, and like learning a trade. And he's always got his nose in a book. Um, he is let's see. Sorry, I am also trying to generate a name really quickly.
I'm also curious to know where he wants to go to uni.
I think, let's see. He wants to go. Let me see. We're in Louisiana right now.
Yeah. I feel like Boston might be a big draw just because of the time frame.
Where did you suggest? You cut out a
Boston.
little bit.
Boston up there in Massachusetts, but that's pretty far away, so I don't know.
That is pretty far away.
But it's got to be
Uh,
one of the best universities.
that's true. Um, you know what? I think he wants to go to university in Texas.
Ooh, okay.
Um, he he dreams like his fallback is being a cowboy. If he can't be like a scholar or a doctor, he wants to be close enough to the West to be able to become a cowboy.
And
Um,
his name is Hiram.
oh no, no, his name is Brian Kirby. I should probably start a new page in our cheat sheet with NPC names,
Yeah.
shouldn't I?
I put mine under my character a little bit, Miss Elliot, just so you're aware. I don't. I guess I could have added a sheet, but
Here, I can do that really quickly.
All right. Follow up question.
Yes.
Tell you more about part of the town they haven't detailed yet. What do the docks look like? Because we know everybody here arrives by steamboat. Is that all the docks are for anymore? Or is there a decent fishing community or something else?
Right. Let me see. I think that um the docks are much larger than you would expect, and they are even emptier than that. It looks like at some point in the last 20 or 30 years, an enterprising mayor put as much money and effort into trying to get the docks to be as large as possible because he figured that that would be a way to get the rest of the town to grow. Um, and then the convulsion happened, and suddenly it is dangerous to get to Scarstone, and dangerous.
Ooh, and like the fireflies are like right on the edge of the
Yeah,
docks or something.
absolutely. Um, and so you can dock safely. Like the docks are all within the border, but uh, you it just it has the vibes of so much optimism that just was not rewarded at all. And so there is the one riverboat that comes in every day, and it always docks in the same spot, as far away from the border like as far into town as possible, as far away from the bayou as it can get. Um, and that is the only boat that you ever see there. The docks are surprisingly good for fishing, though, because again, it is a safe place where normal fish can find safety from whatever is out there
Yeah.
beyond the border.
And there's
But
Where they can find harbor.
uh, exactly. But unfortunately, um, I think that there might only be fishing allowed like on certain days of the week at this point, because
Mm-hmm.
they're the people who know how these things work are worried that you're going to run out of fish if everybody is always catching them, and they never are able to put together a pattern of safety so that they can spawn,
Okay.
because that's obviously how fish work.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. When you start eating the fish, like a new one spawns, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely that definition of spawning that too.
Yeah. I knew it.
Okay, where do we want to stage a scene? I think
Hmm. In one of the places or involving one of the answers.
maybe just the two of them asking each other about these people that keep bothering them. Just like both of them just being like, "You're always like," Vance is like, "You're always flocked by women when we first return," and Raquel's like, "You're always chased around by that little kid."
Yeah.
Just like they're having a drink somewhere,
Just on the
and just
dock.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That could be a good scene.
Like, okay. So we're talking about the peeps who keep approaching us.
Yep. And do you want this to be like on the docks, or this could be in the just like in the inn where you're staying?
What
It's
if
not an inn,
it's
boarding
like a
house, but anyway.
like a tavern right next to the dock, so we still have some of that thing, but we're getting drinks,
Okay, yeah.
and I think I'm staring at a window or something at the docks, and I think
Yeah.
we came in here because we were dodging Brian Kirby.
Okay, yeah. Because he's not allowed inside.
Yeah.
Um because
he's
for
not
what
allowed inside because like his dad owns the place and he doesn't want to be seen skipping out on work.
yes, absolutely. Mr. Kirby the Elder uh, owns this bar. I'm gonna say that this bar like butts up right on the river and the docks. Like it was built intended to be the kind of place where boat workers would see. It's the like the tavern. It's the first thing you see when you come into town. So you come and spend your money there, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and so it has like big open windows and uh, like you can see the river from.
Patio seating and everything.
Yeah,
You don't even have to walk in to get drinks.
yeah.
So what's the deal with that kid? And I motion to where Brian's kind of like his nose is in a book, but he's looking over it at us.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to make it not obvious that I'm pointing, like
Yeah.
motioning to him, but like it's like what's the deal? Like you said he wanted to be a doctor or something, or like
I don't think it's that specific. I think he just knows that I went to university, and he wants, I don't know, maybe a letter of recommendation or something. I've been trying to figure it out, but every time I try to talk to him, he runs off. I think he's scared of getting in trouble for not doing his job, but ditches his job to follow me around. He won't talk to me yet. I'm working on it though. How about you and those women that keep flocking you?
well,
I've noticed they haven't left you alone since we got back.
it's very interesting. I think they think less of me for leaving my fiance behind. They think I should be living, down there in a life of luxury rather than wasting my time here. It's it's kind of humiliating.
Well, I mean, you got to see it from their point of view a little, I guess, you know? They would kill for a chance to not have to live here, I reckon. Nope, he wasn't say I reckon, that's me. That's the second time I've done that. They'd kill for a chance not to live here, I bet.
Well, if they don't want to live
But
here, they should
I
just
agree. I think they're a bit judgy.
they just need to take life into their own hands and realize that like everybody around them can't decide for them. Same thing like when I was back home and my parents sent me here. It's not okay. We're all our own people.
Absolutely. I think that's the same thing that kids gotta learn. And a lot of people around here, I think everyone around here has kind of just accepted their fate, besides the younger group.
Yeah.
And it's really sad when it comes down to it.
It's just I don't even know how you make a living out here with that magic beyond the border.
I mean, we're here and we're spending money, I guess.
Ah, so they just get suckers when their lives are down.
Just more suckers.
Yeah, that's okay. If we keep making good money like we did this last time, we won't be here long.
Yeah, and I heard someone say that that was one of the easier jobs. Who knows how much is on one of the bigger ones?
Oh, yeah, I could use some extra cash.
Me too.
I think that's a good button for that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Speaking of getting more cash,
Let's spend some and get something you need.
get something you need. Sometimes what you've got in your bag ain't gonna cut it. Maybe you need a gun or a stick of dynamite or a good sturdy lantern. When you want to get something you need, pick an item from the gear list. The dealer will then ask you a question about how you are planning to obtain this item. After you have answered in character, ask another player a question about the item you have just obtained. If possible, ask a player who is also attempting to get something they need. If you are using your own questions for this activity, they should pertain to survival and necessity. Then, mark the item down on your character sheet. Once everyone that has spent let ups on this activity has completed their questions and marked their items, you will all roleplay a scene that explains the answer to one or more of the questions that was asked.
I am spending 2 let ups.
Ooh.
And this is the last thing, so I'm spending my last let up.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's just do. I guess we'll take care of both of Eric's. Or do we want to go Eric Grayson Eric or Eric Grayson or?
I think Eric Grayson Eric is fun.
Okay.
So the first and most obvious one, in my opinion, is Vance needs a weapon,
Uh-huh.
and so he is going to try to get a shotgun. I particularly am trying to get him a Winchester Model 1887, which is just a fancy way of saying I want Winchester's lever action shotgun because I think it's cool.
It's really cool.
See,
Okay, awesome.
let me find a quick old picture of this for you, Grayson.
Yeah.
The guy that built this for them literally said, I think a pump action would be better. And they said, no, Winchester is known for the lever action. Build us this gun. And like 5 years later, they built a pump action.
Man.
Uh,
So cool though.
yeah.
And they have when you first mentioned these to me a while ago, I like looked up the Wikipedia page for like the history of the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
The lever action ones have surprising like ammo capability, like even the really old ones.
Yes.
Um so
Man.
anyway,
So
man,
this is the first thing he's trying to acquire.
yes. So I think this one, the question that fits best is that the item you need is costly. How do you convince the shopkeeper to let it go for a fraction of the asking price?
I think Vance Vance sees the um that the shopkeeper's eyes are red, like oh god,
Uh,
like Jebediah's were, and he
oh,
Oh.
promises to bring him back some of the oh, what was it called, like the dream
Lily.
the
lily,
Dream Lotus or the Dream
the
Lily?
dream, yeah, the dream lotus. He's like, hey, like if you can give this to me for a better price, I can survive, I can go back out in the bayou, and I can bring you some dream lily.
Fucking hook you up with
Oh
some
my,
drugs.
Yeah,
that's the like
he's
the
like
owner
just,
of the general store.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Or maybe it's like just like a dude that happens to have the one that he's looking for, like, maybe it's just maybe like the gunsmith, because I assume there's like a general store and then like a dude that builds weapons, because out here there would be like, maybe not, maybe it is just a general store, but I would assume out here, like, with how many people go in and out of the bayou, they would need a specific weaponsmith.
Oh yeah, that is. I mean, it is possible. Um,
So or maybe it's just like the assistant, like it's definitely not the main dude in charge. I don't
okay,
want to put like the main dude on drugs, but I think it's like his assistant is just
okay.
like, oh, I can get you some dream lily, and the dude's like, yeah, okay, sure, anything to sleep again.
Oh.
Woof.
Oh. Oh.
Okay, yeah, I dig that a lot. That sucks.
Okay, and then I ask a question. Let's see, when was the last time you saw an item like this before you came to Scarstone?
Um. I I saw a lot of the Spanish soldiers wielding weapons, but I've never seen a lever action shotgun. Those must be fairly new, but I know my fiance was training for a military activity. Um, that was the last time I saw one.
Then mark the item down. Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Uh-huh.
You all.
What is it that you are looking for?
I think she is getting a tent and bedroll.
Ooh,
Ooh.
okay. Um, let's see. Oh, this sucks. Just like everything else in this game. I love how depressing everything is
Yeah.
here, by the way. In order to get what you need, you have to take it from someone who needs it more than you do. What do you do now that it's yours?
Oh. I So I have taken this from somebody it was their home basically,
Ooh.
which is its own issue. They were out fishing for the day, you know. And I am
Oh, did you?
hiding this thing so like I am so steeped in guilt that I am taking this thing, but I feel like I need it to be able
You
to work.
stole this from someone?
Yeah,
Is that how you're interpreting that question?
what was that?
Are you interpreting that to say that you actually stole
Yeah,
this?
I definitely stole this from somebody who was using it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. Um I think I asked him about it before he went fishing, so the person probably knows what happened.
Interesting. But what do you do with it now
Yeah.
that it's yours?
Um this thing is wrapped so tightly like under what remains of my skirt that it's like I carry it around with me everywhere.
Okay. All right. And then you get to decide on one of these players' questions to ask
Okay.
Vance.
Now that I've taken some poor dude's 10, I ask like how like I know we need someplace to stay. Like how are we all supposed to fit in this tent? How are we supposed to share this? I probably don't tell you I stole it from a dude,
Yeah.
but
Especially with the impropriety of it all.
yeah, I'm like it's
I
not.
think if we
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
change how it's laid out, we might be able to get a bit more coverage. We might have to sleep on the ground instead of on the fabric, but that'll be fine at least with some more coverage from the sky above.
Yeah. It would be nice to have like an actual like pillow I can use too when we're out there.
I agree with that. Okay, and then my last item is a somewhat useful book. We talked about this a little bit. I'm hoping to get because we talked about it after Vance used magic the second time. Is he has to figure out that he's using magic and he needs to get under control before he kills himself because at the moment he's using magic on accident.
Yes.
So I want him to find a somewhat useful book on basically how to help himself.
Yeah, it's like a journal of someone else
Yeah,
who
something
used to be
like
who used to do this work. Um okay. I mean, someone is willing to give you exactly what you need. While they aren't asking for money, what do you now owe them?
so I think there's one of two things which interests me on this. Either one, they want like it's the person who won it who has been doing the research and they hand it to me and like they're missing fingers and like one of their arms is like completely black and like charred ash and they're like, finish this research, and every time you're back, I want to discuss it with you. Like, keep researching how this magic works. Or it's like, maybe it's somebody who like wants to go on the next mission with us, and like for some crazy reason is like wants to meet wants to meet the masked person.
Ooh.
They're like, okay, take me with you, and you're gonna take me into the bayou to meet somebody. And like eventually Vance is like, who are we gonna meet? It's like, I want to meet this dude who wears a mask who walks around with sheep. So like, do you have any opinion on either of those, Grayson? Like, do you want to go back in and meet the? Do you want to purposely avoid that person? I guess is my question.
I just think that's a fun story beat that none of us really want to meet him, but like we want to figure out what's going on as well.
All right, I think that's it then. Is this dude is like obviously injured in some kind of way from using magic. He's been researching this book. I think he's younger than Vance, but looks like he's been through 3 wars, you know? And is just like, I will give you this after I meet up with like the figure who wears the mask. And like Vance immediately knows who he's talking about. And let's see. Using your own questions, they should pertain to survival and necessity. Let's see. Vance's, or I guess the question for Raquel is, do you think Vance's risk of his life is worth it in the end?
I don't think it's worth killing yourself to leave your wife to die. I know there's a lot of like wealth that we can gain or a lot of knowledge, but if all you do is leave your wife to die, is it really worth it?
I'll just have to make sure to make it out alive.
Yeah. And if you can do that, I'll support you. Where were you from originally? I don't remember if we've asked.
I'm from Cincinnati.
Well, if we make it out of here alive, I need to travel east, so I can probably come with you some of the way. And so if you're injured or anything, I'll help you best I can, but
I appreciate that. He smiles. And then I definitely think the roleplay scene is us like talking to this dude. As like, yeah, we're gonna go see this crazy. We're gonna go see the giant, and Raquel is just losing it on Vance for agreeing to this.
yeah. You're like,
Okay.
oh. Did you? So before like I met him, did you tell him that we got marked?
No, there's no way Vance would have mentioned that.
Okay.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Vance is just like, okay, we'll go meet your masked person. Vance is not probably told that. He's just like, all right, we'll do this. He assumes it's the same guy, is what I'll say. But I want like, in character, Vance is not 100% sure. Out of character, it is the dude. It is the guy. And that's going to be the interesting part.
Oh.
Okay, so this guy's name, because now he's important, Wilthrup Cross.
Wilthrup Cross.
Magic researcher wants to meet the masked man.
Yeah.
Or, I guess
The
masked.
Cyclops.
I'm going to put the masked giant. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been calling them the masked shepherd in my notes.
Ooh, I like that.
Cyclopsis.
Okay, Raquel. I've got the last little bit of what I needed. This is my new friend, Winthrop. He's going to join us on our next adventure in. We're going to take him to meet a friend of his out there. So he'll give me a book of his.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Winthrop. What's your friend's name?
Oh, I'm not sure of his name. He only ever introduces himself using mine.
Um,
I, I surmise he is a magical denizen of the swamp. I have only met him but twice, and at a safe distance at that. I simply have more questions I must pose to him before my research is done.
um, he uses your name?
Yes.
Vance's eyes get a little big whenever he hears that part.
Uh,
Because, like I said, he had not realized yet exactly.
Yeah, Raquel is like looking, like slowly looking over at Vance.
yes, it is a giant person with who always covers their face with a mask that I believe to be made of whalebone. Who uh, th- it seems whenever they turn their gaze upon a person, they learn things about them, including their name. And for whatever reason, it amuses him to use the names of the people whom he is talking to.
Well, do you need us to bring you back, or are you going to stay with your friend for a while?
I would prefer to accompany you into the bayou as soon as it is convenient and you are going in that direction,
Well,
and then accompany you out.
hmm.
Uh,
Would
if
you?
you wish to, you can leave me in that person's company, and I will conduct my research with them, and you can continue whatever else you wish to do. Um, and then simply pick me up on your way back out. That would be just fine with me. No, I'm losing this guy's voice a little bit.
And you would feel safe to be with that man while we finish whatever job we're looking for?
You found him unsettling. Yes, I believe that I understand enough about him to protect myself. And he like um reaches underneath his uh shirt collar and pulls out like a necklace that is covered in a variety of like charms and fetishes that like with your little bits of knowledge of culture and whatnot you recognize as being like symbols of protection and stuff. um
Um,
Wearing this, he should not be able to place hand upon me.
well, I don't see an issue with that, I guess, if we don't know exactly what our next job will be, but uh, I suppose that will be fine. And she looks to Vance.
He smiles and says, "At least we've got a bit more protection this time." And he hefts the gun onto his shoulder. I don't think it'll help with him, though, but he's really not the thing I'm worried about out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about, like, I wouldn't worry too much about him, but it's just weird. Um, well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Cross.
Of course, anytime.
I She offers to shake his hand, and it's the one that's like missing a lot of fingers, or just like the hand's missing completely. And she like switches her hand to the other one.
Uh, um, Instead of switching hands, he just does like the awkward,
Oh
like
yeah.
turn his hand kind of backwards and with his injured hand.
Yes. We will see you again soon.
I'll
Oh,
come get you when we're headed out.
Oh,
I appreciate that very much.
And Vance looks to Raquel as he walks off and says, I didn't realize that's who he was talking about. Sorry, but he says his research will help me stop. And he kind of like motions to his vest, which is still slightly covered in ash. It looks like he's been trying to clean it. He goes, his research will help me figure out why I'm doing this and stop it from getting worse.
Well, as long as we don't have to stay with them the whole time, it should be a lot better, I think.
I think we
Although,
just stay 20 foot away at all times.
I am okay with that. And depending on how long your friend wants to stay with them, I am okay with abandoning him too. Like we
Yeah,
not just like leave
I
him
just-
there, but
he said I just gotta get him there to get the book, but I don't mind picking him up either.
yeah, like
I think he is willing to lend you the book as long as you are in Scarstone. And then like he will just give you a copy or like these notes once he is done with this conversation and ready to write up his full thesis or whatever.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So you currently have the book.
you have the
I'm
book.
gonna say. That way we can kind of expedite this little bit of character journey.
And then also if he dies,
Yeah.
yes.
magic notebook.
Oh yeah, I should put in my equipment tent and bedroll.
Okay, and then on to bidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get. First, we'll look at the book again.
I forgot how cool these contracts could be. We basically just took a cold call contract as a side quest, which is fun.
Yeah, basically. Let me. I have a few things that I have kind of pre-brainstormed that I can suggest to y'all. But of course, these are not all of the contracts that appear on the message board here at the Moorhead boarding house. These are just like the ones that appear to be newest and most likely to pay out, as it were.
Perfect.
Let me. Where's my. There we go. And can I just drag this onto Roll20? There we go. Here's a list of contracts that I have drafted.
Okay.
I have them listed in order of tier.
Tier 1 easy, tier 3 hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the book, it says that tier 1 has oh man, I need to scroll a little bit. A severe risk of injury and mild risk of death. Tier 2 is significant risk of death, and tier 3 is near certain death.
Well, there you go. Lost musician, worried producer. Last seen headed toward prominent landmark.
And I
Yeah.
left enough room in these so that we can kind of collaboratively build stuff, but
Yeah.
you know,
Find the mysterious woman who saved person's life. Deliver repayment and letter. Return service requested. Detailed instructions to find her following arcane procedures. The cold call that we already kind of talked about. Dropping off homeboy with Cyclops. Giant Shepherd. Tier 2. Rumors of a plant with significant medicinal and recreational uses abound. Find a number of specimens. Gather data. Postmark to ETU.
East Texas University.
I immediately recognized that.
Well, I'm glad somebody did because that meant nothing to me.
Oh, it's just a dumb reference to something else.
Hey. Run in. A U.S. Marshal wishes to round up and deputize a posse to find an escaped convict and bring him to justice. And then tier 3 kill contract. Find and destroy the king boar. Payment delivered upon receipt of intact tusk. Are there any that are
Really interested in the research or the other cold call.
yeah. Those two
So if
are
either of
those two are the ones I'm more interested in as well.
yeah.
I'd like to kill the king boar, but I don't think Raquel's in on that.
See, I feel like we have to build up to that
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, I
just
kind of included that one as just like a,
it's
uh,
got to be there, right? It's just like
it's got to be there. There's got to be something kind of aspirational.
Mm-hmm.
You have an idea of how terrifying and dangerous this thing is.
I do think I would prefer the research. I think
I
that
I agree.
sounds more fun.
Yeah, like the if we weren't already doing part of a cold call, I would really want to do the other one. But I think the research one is going to be more fun. Plus, it also is going to be a little bit more difficult.
Uh-huh.
So research, let's see, and then what about is the let's see, bidding. They're your lifeblood. Let's see. As a party, you should take time after you finish your let-ups to discuss with the dealer what type of contracts you're interested in pursuing. Let's see. It is now the party's job to begin the process of bidding on contracts. Bidding is a way for the party to communicate with the dealer about what kind of job they want to do and how much they're willing to risk. Okay, so instead of taking one of these pre-made ones, we could bid for a different one. I instead would just like to take the tier 2 research if you're all right with that.
Yes, I am
Mm.
perfectly fine with that.
All right.
The tier 2 research plus the drop off a cold call.
Yes.
Yes. Plus
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I think that the dropping off for a cold call probably doesn't significantly increase the tier of danger.
I think it's mostly just like an escort mission for any game. It's just that keep this dude out of harm's way.
Yeah.
Maybe get an extra SP.
Though I do have some interesting ideas for him whenever we start that mission because I assume we're not going to start it tonight.
Yeah, I think we'll wait until next time. So let's see with this one. Let's see. Minimum skill points available for taking a tier 2 contract will be 6. I would definitely bump it up to a 7 or an 8 since we're adding a little bit of extra work to it. Unless, I mean, this is not really the place to be necessarily arguing about exactly how many skill points this is worth, right?
Let's see. You should never reduce the level below what it's bid on.
The players can request a specific tier of contract in exchange for narrowing the range of skill points they will gain. Okay. I see.
So yeah, we're for sure gonna get 6. Is all we know.
Yeah, for sure gonna get 6, maybe
And
as many
then
as 10.
you judge on how close you come to killing us, or if you kill one of us.
Yeah, or just like like if you're able to just like pull it off without a hitch.
Yeah, if we just blow through it.
Okay.
All right.
I will update my notes so that I know what to prepare. We're gonna do this one.
And then all right.
And then we're going to add this one. Awesome. And then I can have stuff ready for that next time we play.
Perfect. Oh,
Righty.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. And thank you, watchers and listeners, for joining us as well. I hope
Yeah.
that some of this was interesting to listen to and none of it was painful to your ears.
oh, only the dog barking. Okay. We'll see you next time on Roll for That.